things you want to make sure you're doing is talking their language. Because if what you're offering is relevant, of course they're going to want to buy from you if they need what it is you are actually offering. Now, I'm sharing some sales tips tonight around some of the reasons why we're not making money in our businesses. And this is based on my previous experience, because you know I always talk from my previous experience, and also that of my clients and what I've been teaching some of my clients. So good evening to those of you that are joining me now live. I hope you're all well. I've had a really good week. I did a masterclass yesterday which was completely sold out on branding and marketing, and that was teaching people how to write their own marketing plans. And another one of those is going to be coming up in just a few weeks. So for those of you who didn't make the attendee list this time round, of course you're going to be able to get a seat because I'm opening up some tickets for you in the next few weeks. Now, sales. How are your sales getting on? Are you working with sales targets, or do you prefer to not work with sales targets? Please let me know in the comments. Are you someone who just kind of sells and sees how it goes, or do you prefer to work with a particular figure? I'm talking about, you know, the type of individual that has a board, you know, with pins on it, or a figure or a number that says, this is what I need to get this week ideally, or this is what I need to reach this month or this quarter. Because the thing is, if you have a sales target, that will massively help you in your business. Now, one of the reasons that I know business owners don't make so much money, or the amount of money that I think they deserve, is because they don't set a target, or they don't believe they need to set a target to give them focus. All right. So one of the first things I would like for you to write me in the comments, please, is the word focus. Right? Focus, because you need to focus on a target. If you want to be able to sell effectively, you've got to focus on a target. Now imagine, I mean, my background, for those of you that don't know, is that I actually used to do sales back in the day, right? And believe me, I'm over 40. So back in the day, I used to do sales, and I used to work for some very well-known brands. So I've had a lot of extensive sales training, and therefore that kind of adds value for my clients when I'm teaching them about sales techniques. And I don't actually believe in the word sales. I believe that if you understand who, which is what I'm always talking about, the who, if you understand who you're working with or who you're trying to target, making offers should be really easy, because if you're talking their language and you're informing and you're educating them, then actually it's quite easy to convert because they already understand what you're about. Hopefully, if you're showing up consistently, they have a relationship with you online, right? Or if you've made a relationship with them via email or in person, they've built a connection with you. So they already get what you do. They should already have an understanding before you make an offer of how it is you can benefit them in their personal life or their business life, or some kind of transformation in another route, right? So first of all, let's look at a focus, right? Put the word focus in the comments for me if you can, if you're not too tired. Focus. The focus is important. If you can focus on a sales target and someone said, I need to be working with a figure, that's going to give you much more clarity on the types of activity you need to be doing when it comes to jumping on the phone, following up, promoting yourself, and also how you're going to be doing your branding, right? So believe it or not, the amount of work you put into your sales is relevant to the activity you do when it comes to branding and promotional activities, right? Whether you're choosing to do online or offline, there is a direct correlation. So the first thing you want to do is focus on a target. The second thing you need to ask yourself is, even if you don't have a target, how consistent are you showing up online? Are you visible? Are you consistent enough? Because to be honest with you, one of the other reasons why a lot of us don't see the sales is because we're inconsistent. We're either not being visible enough or we're actually inconsistent. So if you are someone who irregularly shows up online, or perhaps you have a preference for when you show up online and maybe nobody knows about it, then people won't see you and it looks as if you're inconsistent. So two of the ways in which you can overcome that, and let me just ask you to put in the comments for me, please shut the door. If you could put in the comments for me, consistency and visibility, those are another two reasons, right? If you are not showing up consistently and you're not visible enough, people won't see you. So if you're not seen, of course, everybody will go to the next option. And I'm not saying that you need to be worried about that, but I am saying that if you know that you're not consistently showing up and you're actually not that visible, or when you are being visible, you're not actually being that, useful when you're showing up online, people won't connect with you at all. All right. So there's three angles there. There's your consistency. Are you actually showing up and being consistent? Can people expect you to be online at a certain time? Can they expect to see your emails at a certain time? Can they expect to see website updates or a blog from you at a certain time? The second thing is visibility, right? Because with visibility, thank you for the notes. With visibility, even if you're being consistent, visibility is more about your audience. If you're not being seen by the right people, then they're not going to want to buy from you, right? So consistency and visibility is key. But the third point I was making as a kind of offshoot of that point is that if you are being consistent and visible, but yet you're not offering any value, nobody's going to connect with you. All right. So there's a second point to that: consistency and visibility and adding value, right? And I also want to say that if people don't really get what it is you do, so if you're not being clear on how you offer value, and if you're not being clear on your unique benefits, what separates you in terms of your brand, the brand experience you offer, what people can get from you when they buy from you, when they invest in your business, what can they expect? If you're not clearly communicating that, again, your sales will not be as high as you want them to be. Now, as an example, I had a client that I'm working with that said to me, look, V, I'm bringing out this box of beauty products, and, should I be telling people what they get inside it? And I said, yes, absolutely. Now, for any of you that sell packages, for any of you that sell tangible products, the best way, aside from giving social proof, to evidence how great your products are or what other people think of your products, to increase and boost your sales, is of course to tell people what they get. So yeah, going into the products, the detail of the products, the ingredients in your products, how your products may transform or help someone, whether it's skincare products, hair products, products for the home. Think about your end user and what they need to know, because if consumers are coming to you, even if you are visible, even if you are consistent, if you're not offering value and explaining, this is the third point, value and usefulness. That's the third point, value and usefulness. If you are not offering value and usefulness, and they don't really understand what it is that you do, your brand experience, the kind of offer that you give, what can they expect from you? What's inside the experience of connecting with V Roberts of Insight2Marketing? What's inside the experience of connecting with your brand? If you're not explaining that, what they get when they spend with you, then you are doing yourself a disservice. Let people know very clearly what it is they get from you when they invest in your business, because then it will be easier for you to get a sale. The other point, okay, so those of you that are writing notes, I think I just said, because I don't ever use notes, I think I just said usefulness and value, right? Usefulness and value. So if you're writing notes for me, so far we've had consistency and visibility. We've had what I just said, usefulness and value. We've also had focus, right? The other point I want to talk about is the reason you might not be getting sales is because your message isn't necessarily that clear. So your message needs to relate to what you're talking about in terms of your product, your brand story, but it needs to resonate with your audience. So assuming you know who it is you're trying to target and what they need, and you have a full understanding, you've researched your audience enough to know why they buy, why they might choose you over someone else, what makes them buy at that time, it's very important that you're clear. Good evening. Thanks everyone for watching. It's very important that you're clear on the message. So the message is the next point. Thank you, Coach Carla, for putting that in. So usefulness and value, and also the message. The message you're communicating could be affecting your sales. So if your message isn't clear and you're not offering clarity about what you do, thank you for the notes, what you do, why they should buy, right? Aside from the usefulness and the value, communicating, about the actual product itself, the details, right? You've got to share the benefits. You've got to share the key message. You've got to share elements around your brand story. And I'm not talking about introducing who you are as a person and why you're in business. I'm talking about going a bit deeper than that. And I'm going to explain that this week via my Facebook group and, in fact, via this platform from June the 2nd through to June the 5th on this page. So make sure you turn your notifications on. Pin a little note down so you know this week I'm going to be working on branding live on this page. All right, so you've got consistency and focus, usefulness and value. You've got clarification of what you do, explaining the benefits. And I also said just now as well, messaging, right? Make sure your message is clear, okay? Because if you're not actually clear on all of these things that I'm sharing with you, it will impact your sales, okay? And the biggest one actually for me anyway is having a target, having a focus that you're going to work on. So I know a lot of people don't work with targets. You feel like you're putting yourself under pressure. But what I would say is if you are flexible in your approach, okay, you might want 5K for the week. You might want £500 for the month, right? But if you don't hit that marker, that's okay because you learn. You work out. Good evening. You work out from what you've been doing in terms of your promotion and activity and your branding, what you could tweak and do better. And this is what marketing is about. It's not about always doing things and getting things right. It's also about understanding what you can do and what you can improve, or what you can do less of and what you can focus more on. So yes, target marketing, very, very key. All right, so you've got to think about all of these things. Now, let me know if so far any of the points that I've raised have resonated with you, or you've thought about anything that I've shared which might make you go away and do some homework or change the way in which you're managing your business. I would definitely say that when it comes to branding, showing up, sharing your brand story is very key. Understanding who you are as a person, or who your business is going to represent, is very key, because your brand needs a tone of voice as well. Again, related to the consistency and the messaging, you'll get much more sales if people can relate to you. If you're sharing and using keywords and tips and useful information that people need, they're going to warm to you. Okay, and so it shouldn't really be about hard selling, right? It should be about offering and serving and connecting with people. Okay, so I'm going to give you those ideas as food for thought and things that you can actually really think about. But I want to also say that one of the reasons why I'm able to connect with my audience, and many of you will know I do different things. I'm not only a coach and consultant, I'm an author of a book that I've self-published. I also am contracted to work on external companies' marketing projects with their teams to teach them and train them with how they can improve their marketing around entertainment and the arts sector. All right. But I also do training courses as well online, and I have my paid membership group. So with each of those different hats that I wear, I have to build a level of trust. I have to ensure that I understand what each of those audience types need. And I think for many of you who wear more than one hat like me, and let me know in the comments what you do in your business if I don't already know. Let me know in the comments, what do you do in your business? Let me know in the comments what you do. For many of you that actually have more than one business, what I would say to you is one of the quickest ways you can increase sales in your business is to differentiate, or rather to define what it is you do and not overdo it. So try to focus, going back to that word focus, just in wrapping up, on one thing at a time. Unless you've got different platforms like I have with a strategic mindset, right? If you just have the one page, don't try and sell them everything from the one page. Don't try and give them useful tips about your cooking company and your admin services and your floral services and your clothes making services on the one page, because what's going to happen? They're going to get confused. Hence why all the things I've just explained in this video are of importance to you if you're in this position. If you're not getting the sales you need, let me just recap. You need a focus. You need a sales target. You need to be consistent and visible. You need to be offering useful information that's valuable. You need to be a genuine brand, someone that people can really resonate with, so that when you talk and you share your message, they can connect with you. Okay? And you also want to make sure that when you're showing up, you are offering time. You're offering tips. Okay, you're being the best you can be, and that people will then connect with you based on what you're sharing, because they want to know more, rather than because you're trying to shove lots of sales info down their neck. All right, so just some food for thought. Let me know in the comments how you found those tips.